I don't mean to be despicable in my language. But like my daughter said, Ma, you're so out of control, sometimes I'm embarrassed to take you in front of my friends. But quite frankly, think about this. What was I saying before the phone started ringing? Quebec is having a problem with immigration. It's okay to say that. It's okay to say that in 2007. Quebec is having a problem with multiculturalism. Excuse me, I'm here. I don't give a shit whether you're having a problem or not. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere, and I intend to take root. So at one level, whether you have a problem with multiculturalism or not is passé. I'm here. At another level, the fact that you're having a problem with multiculturalism is when I ask for my rights to be treated exactly the same way as anybody else. That's what you're having a problem with. So don't say you have a problem with multiculturalism. Because we are multicultural. We always were multicultural. We were never bicultural or bilingual. We were only bicultural and bilingual by erasing Aboriginal nations, languages and cultures from history. Canada was always a multicultural society, even before the English and French. Canada was always a multinational society. Canada was always a multilingual society. To call Canada a bicultural, bilingual society is to impose a colonial construct on it. Just because I'm Aboriginal, not Aboriginal, doesn't mean I have to close my eyes. Although, given the fact that somebody told me that in Caledonia, there was somebody from, you told me, you're from the northern area. She said that, in Toronto Star, there was an article saying, there is a strike by Indians in Caledonia. So I looked at her, I'm like, really? There were Indians in Caledonia? When did they get there? I thought they were all living in Regent Park. And Mississauga and Brampton. The very fact, hey, I'm comfortable with it. Everybody's an Indian. I'm not, but that's irrelevant. The fact still remains that Canada cannot possibly in 2007 begin to question things like immigration. Excuse me, what are you going to do? Put us all in concentration camps? What are you going to do? We are here. The very fact that in 2007 people feel fit to talk about we have a discomfort with pluralism. We have a discomfort with multiculturalism. Should tell you that social inclusion is a term that has never been interrogated for its internal contradictions. When people talk social inclusion, which is what I'm arguing in my paper, they already have a preconceived notion of what we are going to be included into. There is a society that has been constructed, and it's a colonial construct, into which we are going to be included. So what if you and I choose not to be included? What happens to us? And you all are thinking, shit, now we lose what little funding we have. But you do understand that terms like multiculturalism and social inclusion are not as benign as they appear to be. Just because we talk about them doesn't make them acceptable. One must interrogate, what are we settling people into? How can I be settled? Just because my husband and my 2 children live here? My mother lives in Pakistan. Every time a bomb goes off in Pakistan, I'm unsettled. Every time our government has a policy towards Afghanistan that has an impact on Pakistan, I am unsettled. But the government appoints Mr. Manley to go to Afghanistan, the great expert on Afghans, but it never bothers to ask me what I might think my state should be doing towards Afghanistan. That is the problem. We talk multiculturalism, but if we take multiculturalism to its logical conclusion, are you willing, as Canadian state, willing to take the globalized workforce that we have managed to get here, but their global connections we want to sever? Are we willing to do that? If we are, then we should tell them so. Canada is turning into an economic gulag. We are turning into an economic camp. It's the chain gangs all over again. We want people to come from all over the world with their skills, with their qualifications and everything. But we only want them to be the economic underbelly of our society. Just in case we need surplus labor. We don't want them to be empowered citizens. We don't want them to reshape Canada, heaven forbid. We don't want them to reconstruct Canada in their own image. No, we just want them for their labor. That's all. Now, last I heard, that was the most, I don't know about you, but in my case, the least attractive quality of mine is labor. I have lots of other ideas and I have lots of other very charming qualifications, but labor was the least one of them. It definitely doesn't define me. So if I'm raising children in Canada who I want them to grow up to be proud Muslims, politically active, and to start imagining Canada as a true multicultural, multilingual, multi-faith, multi-ethnic, pluralistic society, that's not acceptable. That's not where the Canadian government thinks multiculturalism ought to be going. That's why there is so much, that's why people are turning around and saying, oh, I have problems with multiculturalism. What is the problem? Isn't that the problem? That I might actually take my cultural preferences to its logical conclusion and start demanding empowerment and equity on the basis of my cultural preferences? Have you noticed how it is very interesting whenever it comes to immigrant culture and language and preferences, it's all about accommodation. Someone from CBC called me and asked me, she's like, what did I think of reasonable accommodation? And I'm like, I try not to think too much about it. And she's like, but don't you think that's a good thing that we are talking about reasonable accommodation? And I'm like, that's the problem. Everybody else has rights, I have to be accommodated. The very term accommodation is a highly problematic and paternalistic term. Somebody in the greatness of their heart and the goodness of their heart have to accommodate me. Don't misunderstand me. That doesn't mean I want to be, treated with bigotry and racism. I mean, I'll get treated like that in any case, so I don't have to want it. But the point still remains that just because I say accommodation is a problematic term, you don't need to jump to the opposite conclusion, which is, oh, she doesn't wish to be accommodated, so let's be bigoted and, treat her in a racialized manner. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that in 2007, when we claim we are the best country in the world, we are using terminology that is highly contentious, highly problematic, and highly divisive. The very fact that in the election we talked about accommodation in terms of religious schooling or funding, public funding for faith-based schooling as opposed to racialization of poverty was very telling. I mean, even though I think, accommodation of religious schools, etc. is a matter of equity at some level, the fact still remains. We chose a very contentious issue as a political issue, as opposed to racialization of poverty. Now, you tell me who in Ontario would have said, no, let's not eliminate poverty.